All right. Welcome back to another fabulous Friday night art class. Hi, Leslie. You came just in time. Welcome, welcome. And we are here painting this beautiful, vibrant lake sunset scene. And we're using yellow. I'm using this yellow, orange, blue, black, and white. And then we have our three favorite brushes, the wide flat brush for the backgrounds, the medium round brush for blending, and the small detail brush. So if you guys are ready, we can get started with our wide flat brush here. And what we're gonna do first is just give an entire layer of just watery yellow on our canvas to start with. So just using our water, and we're gonna spread this as evenly as possible across our entire thing here. All right, so that's our first half here. I'm gonna give it a flip so I can more easily do the second half. All right, so that's our first layer here. Very nice. Just getting a foundation going. All right, now once we have this layer, we're going to already start with this. Oops, here we are. Our medium round brush, which mine is a little frayed at the moment, but we're just gonna go in and lightly blend in some areas of white paint. And after we get a few just kind of spotty areas, okay, sorry, I lied. Before we do that, we're gonna create our horizon line with white, just so we know where our separation is between the sky and the water. So you can do that in like perfect center if you like, or if you want, it could be a little bit lower. We're just gonna give ourselves a nice white line across the center, like so. Now I know where I'm working. So once we have this set, what I'm going to do is just kind of set aside some white areas where I know I'm going to have my clouds, but just a few little extra areas giving kind of a hazy look to our sky. And whatever I do up here, I'm going to have to repeat it in some form down here. It doesn't have to be exact, but at least mimicking the shapes somewhat. So let's say if I have a big cloud formation here across the bottom, I'm gonna just kind of start working this white paint in and we'll create that shape. So you can see it's not like perfectly defined. Just kind of giving it a little bit of depth. I can do a little section up here if I want. Big section on the other side, of course, so we can get some good clouds in here. And then you can see my other areas yellow around it. So just kind of trying to mimic that down here. I'm not going to do much, but I will blend, some white here, a little there, just kind of spotting it around so that I know we're going to have somewhat, that reflection look. So just a little bit, not too much, not making it exact. It's very light, but you can see my yellow between still. Before we clean our brush, we're just going to enhance some of that yellow. Not all of it. But you can see how I blended this white. I still have my white on my brush. It's still dirty. And I'm just going to dip a little yellow and just do a few streaks in between just to kind of re-enhance what we've already done. Just kind of popping the color in between there, just gently with that round brush should create some smooth texture between the colors. So you can see that yellow is just a little bit brighter now here on the bottom. Let's do a little bit more on the top so I can show you that, and then this part will be complete. Just pop that color in between the white spaces you just made. We will get a chance to redeem ourselves with more blending in a moment, but at least just want you guys to really get the color on there. So you can hopefully see the difference between the yellow and white areas like so. Still have my horizon line here, and it's gonna come together momentarily, don't you worry. I have a brush hair here. think this is going to be really nice. So while you guys are working in that yellow, don't let it get too dry. I still have a little moisture here. And we're gonna set this brush aside. You can leave it in your water for now for a few minutes. And we're gonna hop on in with our detail brush, but we want it to be a little bit moist. We don't want it to be dripping with water, but we do want it to be saturated a little. And so the first thing we're doing with this is just blending in orange, and we're going to kind of streak it in. You can start with your sky if you like, or start with your water. It may be easier to kind of go along your horizon line here first. Then that way, if anything drips, you can kind of catch it. But the way we're doing this area, just light dashes, keeping the brush strokes as horizontal as possible, as parallel as possible. And you can see I'm just very lightly, very quickly creating dashes. And as I slowly move the brush around the canvas. Now, all bodies of water have a flow.
Is that orange that you use, Ashley?
Yeah, this is the
Okay.
orange now.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, absolutely. You're welcome. And all bodies of water are going to have some sort of flow to them. If they're in motion, we have our landmass that's going to go here. So we know the flow of the tide isn't going to be directly towards us. It's going to kind of flow around that land we're putting. So we want to give that illusion. So as I'm doing these dashes, I can bring them in to the left, but I want to bring them back out so that I can show, hey, there's this piece of land that's coming in here. And then I can wrap them back down, just as the water would wrap around the land, like so. And you can continue, you can blend this as much as you want, or you can leave your strokes like more textured so we can actually see it. It's totally up to your style. So you're not barred by any one technique here. But just so that it reads as the actual water. Let's see, let's do another streak on this side. Little streak of orange going through here. And of course, if you feel like it's too orange, you can add more yellow. I wouldn't suggest adding white. You will get more of like a skin tone color. So yeah, if you feel like it's too orange, you can add a little more yellow, but this looks good to me. Let me add a few more here. I think this is good. Perfect. Not too bad. Not too bad. All right, let's do a little some in the sky. And I'm just going to snake it through the sky as well. Going up to the heavens, if you will. So we can just kind of go for it here in the center. And just remember to keep the pressure light so you don't get these dark, thick dots at the ends of your lines. Just keep the pressure really, really light. And I can go meet my line there. Really selling it now. I think this is good for me. It's coming together now. I do like it so far. It does have good movement. And once you have your orange the way you like, go ahead and clean that brush. Make sure that you get all of the water out and all of the pigment. So we're gonna do some more details on the background. Actually, also, you should make sure that your medium round brush is clean as well, and make sure you get all the water out of that too. We're going to use that as well for the next step. It's a two brush, I don't know, step. Oh, you know what? We will just be using the detail brush, but we will need the medium round brush, so it's good. Go ahead and clean it now. That's fine. So the last thing we're gonna do on this backgrounds part before we get to our blue clouds, we're gonna start with our like first layer of the white accents on the water. And we're also gonna do our setting sun with a few more details on these clouds before we get to the blue. So let me make sure I'm ready here. Perfect. So we're working with white now. And our main goals, we want to lay out our area where our landmass is going to be, just kind of blocking out a section. It doesn't have to be perfect, but I'm just going to go ahead and create myself a little island here, like so. That's just, the background part of it. So I can bring it out to maybe like halfway, taper it on the end, like so. I'm also gonna just place my little sun there, kind of like an inch or so above that original horizon line I created. So just making ourselves a little dot and expanding on it. But it was hard for me to get it right in the first one. So what I did was kind of give the illusion of clouds with it, which I can show you guys once we get to the blue. So if it's not perfectly round, you have a chance to redeem yourself. That's good, I think. Now we know where the sun is, where the land is. These are important landmarks for us. But from here, you have to do two more things. One, let's do the clouds first. So I'm going to define my cloud space a little bit more for how these blue areas are going to be. The first thing I'm going to do is just give ourselves a little bit more emphasis on the bottom part of this white area. So the closest I get to my horizon line, I want it to be as white as possible. So I'm just kind of adding in extra paint there. I'm not really making it any shape. I'm just kind of blending it in so that you can see. And I'll hold this closer in a second. But yeah, it just should be a lot wider towards the bottom. It kind of blends up into yellow here, which is fine. But just to kind of help our blue pop more, just a little more white around that horizon line will do the trick. That's the first part. But I'm also going to create these two cloud shapes here. So it doesn't have to be perfectly defined. I'm just kind of creating a blob, so to speak, that we are going to define with the blue paint, actually. So it does not have to be perfectly perfect. We're just kind of setting the table, if you will, for later. So like this is probably good before I do too much. And if you have a little extra paint, you can blend that in other places too. It's just going to look like more hazy, more realistic. So I like to do that. Wonderful. It's coming together little by little. So that was a few steps. So we did our formation of where our landmass is going to be. We did our sun, and then we formed our clouds, at least the areas where they're going to kind of be. So that's pretty good. The last things we're doing with this brush for the background part anyway will just be we're going to put a little bit of a reflection of these two bigger clouds. I guess just these two bigger clouds over here, so we can see them reflected on the water. And then other than that, we want to put some more white down the center of our little lake water mass so we can see the motion of the water around the land. And I guess whatever extra streaks you want to add, we're going to do more at the very end after we finish our black area. So you don't want to overdo it. But let me demonstrate here a few. So for instance, to do our shadows, just a little bit here, or shadows, reflections, like so. And then we'll do our water reflection lines. And so I'm, again, just going to keep it really light, try to keep the brush as thin as possible by using light pressure. And we work our way around like so. And I think I'm going to add some more lines in at the end. So this should be good. You don't want to do too much. It's coming together now. Now things are going to get interesting because that's basically the background. Yes, so That is our background. Make sure when you're done with that part, with the white, we're gonna clean our brush, the small detail brush again. And then for the next, and make sure you get all of the water, all of the pigment out. For the next part, we will need both the detail brush and the medium round. Yes, so we have our detail brush now and our medium round brush, and we will be using both of these together to make these clouds like this. So first, let's mix some colors. We're gonna take a new section here. You guys can see where I already blended on mine. So I'm gonna scoop some of my blue color here into a new section. It could be like a good amount, like that. I can, let's see if we can get some of this extra. All right. So once I have that, I'm gonna just slowly scoop some black in little by little until I get a nice, I want it to be a good navy blue color. So I'm gonna just slowly add the black in a little at a time until I have a really good like midnight color. Let's get a little more. It's about close. If you want to be even extra fancy, I guess you could add a little purple to this, but black is good enough. So that's a nice color, I think. There should be pretty navy. So let's get into these clouds, shall we? We're gonna do them little by little. So you're gonna have to have either your other hand to hold this brush while we work with this brush, or maybe someplace safe where you can set it down and it not get on your clothes or anything. So I'm gonna take this darker blue color we made, and I'm just gonna slowly start formulating the bottom shape of the clouds above this extra white enhanced area that I made. So that line, it can be as wiggly and uneven as I like. And I'm bringing it all the way across, leaving a nice portion of my white underneath. Let's see, we could go even lower here. So this is the bottom of your clouds, but don't take too long. I'm setting this aside for a second and I'm going in with the medium round brush. It's somewhat damp, but I do not have water in it. And what I do with this is I just take white by itself and I'm slowly going to massage that line, the top part of the line only, until that blue starts to become a part of my white. And what's going to happen is, well, let me do this a little bit more and I can bring it in and show you better. So I'm just going to keep blending. Here we go. Now it's happening. Now it's happening. That's what we want. Okay, you see that? You see how that blue blends up into my white very softly, creating this transition. It's unbelievable with the dark blue solid line underneath. And the other colors just blend right into it. There's no harsh line or separation. It's just like a real cloud. That's what you want. Beauty is, this is acrylic. So if you mess up on this part, all you have to do is just give it a few and then start on over again with your dark blue line and you could do it all over again. So that's the beautiful part about this particular technique. So let me get a little more white. Don't want to go too high, okay, because we still have the rest of our clouds to make, but boy, oh boy, does that look amazing. Okay, we love this part. So that's our first cloud. Look at that. And we can just kind of blend the top of it slowly up. That way, when it meets the yellow, it doesn't make green. It literally just fades like off into the yellow, like a real cloud. It looks so awesome. So that's our first cloud. Perfect. So let us finish up these clouds. So the last little areas I'm really going to formulate the way we did with this dark line underneath is really this cloud formation here. And the only thing that's different is I'm going to actually highlight the bottom and the top outlines. Not all of it, just some, just enough. So we can have some of it be formulated here. That's the top. Again, I don't want to wait too long, so let's hurry up and do the bottom here as best I can. And before that blue dries, we're coming in with the white. So for this one, what you're gonna see is it be darker on the top and bottom, and then it's gonna blend to be more white along the center of the formation. So you have to be very, very gentle on this part. And we're just almost tapping this in at this point, just so that we don't overdo it. Over that line, so beautiful. We can bring the blue up into the white a little bit more and do the same thing on the top coming down. Still keeping it light. Very, very, very light. Like painting with a feather. Okay, and then it's all gonna come together. And I'm liking that. So, I like it. No green. We have the blue, we have the yellow. It's just like the real sky. And the blue and the yellow never have to meet and make a green color. It's so interesting, isn't it? Because we never have green clouds, but we always see blue and yellow in the sky. Our vision sees it differently, apparently. We see in red, blue, and yellow primary colors, but then we watch TV in red, blue, and green primary colors. It's so interesting. Then when we print things on the printer, that's not even, that's cayenne, yellow, magenta, and black, the way we see those colors. So interesting. So I have the basics, but now you guys can kind of have fun and spread your cloud reflections. And just like a little, you could put like a few more blue streaks along the sky, make them a little hazy, or put some more blue clouds, like actual cloud formations if you want. I'm gonna do that, I think. Just a few, in here. Haziness. Make it a little different than my first one. And then I'll take a little bit more of this blue color with my white here. And I can just blend it in some areas here. I might even switch back to my detail brush at this part just to get some good, water reflections of these clouds down here. Let's see what happens when I switch to my detail brush. We can just put like a few streaks, however you see it. And you can blend these in. You can do more white with them. Oops, that's kind of a lot, but you know what I mean. Yep, and if you're getting dots when you're doing your horizontal lines, get these dots like this, it means you're using too much pressure. You have to lighten up. You see how I have these dots? That's a good lesson there. That's when you use too much pressure. So you just have to lighten it. That's really nice, actually. It's a neat one with the clouds. A good trick. I like how these turn out. And when you're done with all of your streaks and the water and everything, you can go ahead and clean your brushes. We're going to use our detail brush for the rest. So make sure you get all of the color and the water out of that one. We'll be using that for our trees and our land. Very exciting. Well, we'll do our land trees, the reflection in black, and then we'll have to clean our brush one last time and do a few more like water streaks over top of our reflection. So it really, really sells it. Wonderful. Let's finish this thing. So we have cleaned off our detail brush. Make sure you get all of the water out. And right now it looks beautiful. It looks, kind of like the water, but we really need a point of reference. So let's go ahead and put our land mass in that we've prepared a space for. We've prepared a space at the table. And we're going to start with black, or the whole thing's going to be black, really. We'll do a few white accents after. But all I'm going to do here first is just create a nice isosceles triangle kind of shape. It's going to come about halfway to the center of my canvas. And I'm just going to fill in this very thin, stretched triangle shape. Doesn't have to be perfect, but somewhat triangular. So I still have some of my blue above, some of my white below. It's perfect. And so once you have your triangle, at least just mapped out, it doesn't have to be perfectly filled in yet or anything. The other steps will help. I'm going to create my grasses on the top just by doing short gestural strokes. And we're going to do our spinny, twirly trick here where we try to get the brush as pointy as possible. And then we go through with our grass shapes here. Just take your time on this part. And then you want the grasses to be kind of taller towards the edge of the canvas, and they can get shorter towards the center. Looking nice. Once you have your grasses, we'll just make a few wavy lines under, kind of going around our island, but you want to make sure that you keep some of that white in between those lines. I'm making them kind of wiggly here, you see. So they work their way around our island. They might even connect with each other, but the whole point is you want to say a little bit of that white in between, really make it look aquatic and get the reflective effect. Looks pretty good. So now, two things. We're going to do our trees, and I want to make sure that they don't disturb our sun here. So I'm going to make sure that my trunks, we do the trunks first around here. Make sure that I'm to the side of this sun. And then whatever space I have here, I'm just going to do my best and try to fit 3 good ones in here. Make them different sizes, and ooh, you can do multiple layers, multiple lines for the trunk, but that's what I'm doing. So, and then you know the drill. You can do your leaves how you like. I'm gonna go ahead and draw just some little branch lines. Nothing major. Just curve them up a little bit. And my leaves really will be more like just dots on either side of these lines for this kind of tree. and work our way out. Of course, the reflection doesn't need to be this detailed, but we can get some good leaves on here. Nice. It's one of my trees. I think I'll do a little less. Well, this is good. This is a good number of leaves. This is nice. So we'll do all the leaves and then we'll do our reflection, which will just be a lighter repeating of the same idea, not anywhere near as detailed. It's okay. We'll let these kind of overlap here. All right. Getting some good leaves over here. Just remembering to take my time. One dot at a time, and then boom, before you know it, you just have this tree and really masterpiece. It looks so realistic. It's the little things. Sometimes I do too much, but this one can be a little more bushy. All right. So the last things, just gonna kind of do the reflection simple, like just a wavy little line and just a few kind of really lightly mimicking the dots of the tree or the leaves of the tree, like so. And once I have that, the last and final step, we will just be putting just a few white lines over top. So you're going to want your black trees to kind of set for a moment, just a second. Don't use too much paint on them. Now, or if you have a secondary brush, it's better. But now we just put a few white streaks over so it really gives the illusion of the water. And then we'll be done. Let's see, do I have any more? I think all my white is done for. Let's see. Nope. Let's get some more. All right, so just a little few light water streaks over. Nice. Not too much, not too crazy, but hey, that looks pretty good, I think. Look at that. Wonderful. And that is our, what do we call it? Our vibrant sunset lake. So thank you. Thank you so much for joining me today. I appreciate you being here. And if you're watching on YouTube later, hopefully when I edit this, whenever that is, I hope you like, subscribe, comment, and share with a friend. So thank you guys. See you next week. Let's see. How do we? Okay, there we go. And stop. Perfect. Oh.